All right, we have a bizarre situation starting to brew up in Cincinnati between the Bengals and their first-round draft pick Shemar Stewart out of Texas A&M, as the two sides seem to be at a major impasse as far as language is concerned in Stewart's rookie contract that he has yet to sign. Now, Stewart remains one of 5 rookies not signed at the time of recording here, but his situation seems to be massively different than the other guys' situations. Stewart is complaining about the language in the contract. Since 2011, the NFL has basically rookie slotted every contract. So basically broken down how much money you're going to get based on your draft position each and every year for your first 4 years. Plus, if they pick up your 5th year option that you get as a first round draft pick, a club option the teams have. So it's not really an argument about money in this sake. It's about the language in the contract, where the Bengals are apparently trying to add a clause into Stewart's contract that they have not had in years past and could potentially void the money in Stewart's rookie deal if something were to happen. Now, it's not totally clear exactly what the verbiage is in the contract and what the application of that verbiage in the contract, should Stewart be released from the team or injured for the team or cut for something, how it would apply. So it's a very sticky situation. And Stewart claims he's in the right. He's not asking for anything different than other rookies, like Bengals rookies the last few years have had in their contracts. It's this, that verbiage was not in those contracts. Now the Bengals beat writers are starting to come to support for this Bengals ownership and front office group, which I don't know why. This is easily one of the worst front offices and ownership groups in the league. They just don't play their players. They screw their players all the time on the back end. I mean, look how painful it was to get T. Higgins a contract extension. Trey Hendrickson is holding out. 17.5 sacks. They can't get him money because this is the poorest owner in the NFL, basically, when it comes to cash. And the NFL is run by guaranteed money, cash up front to get these guys to show up and play out. So Stewart's trying to avoid a clause in the contract that allegedly the Bengals are trying to put in there, that other teams have in their contracts, but the Bengals have not had in their contracts, that would void the contract completely if he's cut due to apparently they're claiming just a non-football injury or conduct detrimental to the team, i.e. something like Henry Ruggs, or if he gets injured like, I don't know, using four-wheelers or skiing or playing basketball or something like that, and he gets a serious injury and he can't play, the Bengals can not only recoup their money for that year in the guarantees, but for the entire duration of the contract, which you'll say, Peter, that sounds sensible. That sounds like a fair thing. Don't do stupid shit off the field. The team shouldn't be on the hook for that money. But the problem is, it's not necessarily stated according to Mike Florio's reporting, what Shemar Stewart's camp is reporting, that's the issue. Like, that's not the verbiage the Bengals are using. The Bengals are using verbiage that would essentially apply that if Stewart is cut for any reason whatsoever by the Bengals, they can recoup the entirety of his rookie guaranteed contract and not have to pay that out, which is kind of absurd. That's total bullshit. The Bengals are trying to screw Stewart on the front end when Stewart already knows they're going to screw him on the back end if he's going to get that second contract here. Because if he gets cut, they want to get rid of him, not have to pay him, and not allow him to double dip. Because if a first-round guy gets cut by a team, the team that drafted him still got to pay out that rookie contract, and the second team is also paying him a contract. So basically, you're double dipping on those contracts, and the Bengals want to avoid that. But only Cincinnati could find themselves in this situation. Like, these rookie contracts are scaled out. Everybody signs them. Everybody knows the deal. It's 4 years guaranteed. We avoid the holdouts from rookies like in years past, and we avoid having to pay them $800 million or Jamarcus Russell's and Cam Newton monies when they're complete unknowns. The Cam Newton thing worked out. Jamarcus Russell, obviously the biggest bust in NFL history, or a Sam Bradford guy who got the bag after bag after bag. It could never really stick anywhere in this league. So only the Bengals could find themselves in this situation. It came to a head as Stewart has officially left the team's minicamp early. Now, minicamp was ending on Thursday, so it's not really too early. He's been involved in meetings and talking to coaches, but he hasn't been able to get on the field and start practicing. And these are critical reps for rookies to get out there. OTAs, rookie minicamp, the mandatory minicamp, get them out there, start getting reps, start getting used to the defense, because you can study and learn all you want in the classroom. It's what you put on the field is what matters and how you get good. And the Bengals are desperately trying to upgrade easily the worst defense in the NFL last year. They bring in a new defensive coordinator, Al Golden from Notre Dame, and they're trying to get things running. And now pair that with the fact that their star-studded pass rusher, Trey Hendrickson, is holding out for a new contract. He is not there as well. It's always something with this Bengals organization. And if you talk to former Bengals players, they'll tell you how bad this team is run from ownership on down. I mean, TJ Houshmandzadeh, Chad Ochocinco. I mean, ask Carson Palmer how he feels with how their front office handles money. T. Higgins was about ready to lose it and basically held the Bengals hostage until they gave him a new deal, and they gave Jamar Chase the deal. And this is the typical Bengals thing. They are so cash poor that they can't hand out the cash up front after they backed up the Brinks truck for Higgins and Chase. They got nothing left for Hendrickson, and I feel like they don't want to guarantee this money to Stewart. Now, Stewart was more of a project than a prospect coming into Cincinnati. They took him 17th overall. Really didn't have any production at Texas A&M. I know, watching them every Saturday, it was kind of disappointing the impact he would have on games. This was a highly recruited player coming out of high school. You thought he would be a complete and total game wrecker, and he had flashes in the pan. Didn't necessarily get the stacks or the stat productions, but he would have moments where he would just wreak havoc on the defensive line, blow up offensive plays, and the talent is most certainly there. But it was a risk for Cincinnati, and now they're trying to completely hedge themselves and remove themselves from the situation where it's like, well, if this doesn't work out and we made a stupid draft pick and it's a bust, we can just cut ties, not take the cap hit or anything like that. But it doesn't seem like either of these sides are going to budge on this clause. I mean, Stewart has spoken out publicly that say ownership just wants to win an argument. They're not interested in winning games. This is a disaster start for a guy who's like been on the team since the end of April, getting drafted, hasn't played a snap for him, and he's already fed up with ownership, fed up with the front office. This is a disaster look for the Bengals all around. I'm sure those in the know aren't surprised, but what are Stewart's options here? If Stewart doesn't sign this rookie contract, because we really haven't seen a rookie holdout in a very long time. Eventually the teams come to terms, they get the numbers worked out, and we have not seen any of this stuff since they implemented the rookie pay scale. It's been pretty much smooth sailing. Now we could have another interesting situation brewing in Jacksonville with Travis Hunter because of him saying he's going to play both ways. He's working, trying to finagle a little bit more money out of that deal because he is going to put himself in a situation where he could potentially increase his injury risk. But that's another thing to keep our eyes on as well. But Stewart, could he go back to Texas A&M? No, not really. That's not an option after being drafted and declared. I know the NIL situation, it kind of makes things fuzzy on people hiring agents and all that stuff. No, he can't go back. But what he can do is not sign this rookie deal and then re-enter the 2026 draft. So he can hold out for the entirety of the year and then be redrafted by any of the other 31 teams in the draft next season. Obviously would massively hurt his draft stock and hurt the total guaranteed monies he would get, but it would get him out of a toxic situation, it feels like, in Cincinnati. The Bengals could maybe go for broke, and if they aren't going to budge on this contract deal, maybe they try and trade Stewart for a veteran player who's already on a deal, and they can deal with that as they want to. And I'm sure a team for low draft capital or really not much given up would take a guy like Stewart, plug him in on their defensive line, a first-round type talent, catch him up to speed, get him into the rotation, then hopefully capitalize and turn him into, an impact every down kind of guy, because right now he's just a rotational piece for you on your defensive line. But this is a very, very complex and interesting situation. Most likely, I think the Bengals are gonna cave eventually due to massive media pressure to get this shit done. It's a bad look for the organization, like it always seems to be a bad look for the organization. Get this deal done. The next key date is the end of July when training camp officially gets underway for Cincinnati. So keep your eyes out for that. But maybe the pressure in Cincinnati won't be that big because it seems like the beat reporters are on ownership's side and aren't really pushing back and blaming the rookie for this one. So things could get ugly. Things could get toxic. What else is new in Cincinnati? They never want to be good. They're never going to help my man Joe Burrow out and get him a defense to compete for a Super Bowl again. It's going to be all offense all the time in Cincinnati and disastrous ownership group. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Will they get this contract done? Could Stewart hold out and re-enter for the 2026 NFL Draft? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you haven't already, drop a quick like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. We got daily sports content for you guys. If you want to support the channel more, sign up for a channel membership. You get all sorts of access to cool and exclusive perks. Help support me, allows me to keep making this great content for you guys every single day. It's summer is here. If you want to check out some sporting events lives, head on over to SeatGeek.com. Use code AfterTheReview for $20 off your first purchase. That's SeatGeek.com. Code AfterTheReview for $20 off your first purchase. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.